Foreign Affairs Committee member, Republican Adam Kinzinger. Today, sir, from the Hill, and good morning to you, and thank you for your time.
Good morning.
I want to go through a couple of things. First of all, let me get to the caravan in a moment here, but what is your feeling on the State of the Union? Should it happen or should it not happen, or if it does happen, in what form?
Yeah, I think it should happen like normal, as we say in the military, as fragged. I think, you know, Nancy Pelosi is playing politics with disinviting the president. It's her right to do that. I mean, she's the Speaker of the House. That's what happens when you have the majority. But I think to cite security concerns is disingenuous. I think just be straight up. Look, I don't want you in front of the American people making your case. That's why she's doing it. It's not a security issue. I think it's trite and petty. There's too much trite and pettiness out here already. I wish she'd let that go, but, you know, look, it's her decision, and while I think it stinks, she's in the majority.
Let's see what happens there. Cut through the triteness, then.
Right, please, all of us, everywhere. Oh, there's so much of it. Look, people out here on my party and the other party have forgotten the fact that this country was built on compromise. This country was a compromise. The Constitution was a compromise itself, and it's written to force compromise. We've gotten in this pattern where it's like the only way we can win is if the other side loses. It's not a zero-sum game here, and I think there is an easy way out of this. Be a little something that the Republicans don't want and something the Democrats don't want, which is the wall, and 80% of Americans would be happy about that. But we're scared to death to talk to each other, and it's frustrating, and we're like 1 week into the new term, and we're already talking about re-election for all these people.
Doesn't look great on the outside. I don't know you're well aware of that. Let's bring up an issue that's very close to you, and that has to do with what happened in Syria yesterday. Here's Democrat Richard Blumenthal on the dangers of a withdrawal without a strategy. Watch.
The danger to our troops will only increase because of the haphazard and lack of strategy that we have in Syria. This tragedy today really reflects the lack of an adequate strategy or plan going forward that must be remedied.
No, you're very close to this. What do you think of those comments about a lack of strategy?
Well, I think there is a lack. Well, I think there is a lack of strategy now. There was a very good strategy that we had in place. I think the president coming and just saying we're going to take the troops out because he's been listening to Rand Paul's foreign policy, I think a little too much. I think now we're in that kind of position where we don't know what the mission is, you know. But for anybody to imply, as I think was slightly done in that soundbite, that somehow the president is responsible for this, there is one person or a group that is responsible for the death of these Americans. An evil group called ISIS that came from an evil group called Al-Qaeda, and somebody that walked in and decided to blow themselves up and not care about civilians or Americans. Look, fighting terrorism is not our choice. That's going to be done. That's a choice that's made for us. Where we fight them is, and I would much rather fight them there than here.
You heard what Lindsey Graham said, right? If you announce that you're getting out without a date certain, absent of that, even if you're moving equipment back across the border into Iraq, that you give the other side a level of enthusiasm they did not have before.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's absolutely true. If you think about it, if you're an ISIS recruiter and you're getting crushed, and all of a sudden, you know, you're used to just getting crushed but outlasting, all of a sudden the United States announces that you have defeated their will, in essence, that they're leaving, that they've had enough, that they're war weary. That is something you can walk and recruit the next generation of ISIS with. So you can say, look, they hurt our caliphate, but we're going to come back. And just as prophesied, we were going to be down but not out, and we're going to come back stronger.
What would you do then if you have 2,000 troops there? Do you keep them there? What do you do?
I think you do. For now, I'd like to get them out eventually. You prosecute the war against ISIS. You continue to lean forward everywhere they exist. But we have to fight this war in the next generation of ISIS, which is giving these people hope and opportunity. And simply coming home and saying that the rest of the world doesn't matter does not give that next generation hope and opportunity. Doesn't mean we have to invest and rebuild the world, but we have a moral authority that nobody else has to give hope to some of these people. You can't recruit a member of ISIS out of somebody that has a job in a great community.
Amen to that. Sir, thank you. Adam Kinzinger, the Republican of Illinois. Thank you for your time today. About 11 minutes.